Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Naruto Light Novel review. And this one's going to be for Naruto Sasuke's story, Sunrise. As you can sort of see written there. Really cool cover on the book with Sasuke there, of course. And obviously we get the writing credits of Shin Tawada writing and then like assistance by Masashi Kishimoto. So really, really interesting stuff here. Looking at the start of the book, we get our usual thing of, like tables of contents and our kind of character page here, which basically just lists Naruto, Sasuke. Itachi is listed here, but it's primarily like Sasuke thinking about Itachi in terms of that appearance. Sakura, Orochimaru, Karyu, Chino, Nowaki, who are kind of our villain kind of characters revealed to be in the end. So the interesting thing about this one is that this is already adapted in the anime. Episodes 484 to 488 of Naruto Shippuden cover this exact book, and I think it's a pretty accurate adaptation. And I'd almost say like it's completely up to you whether you take this story in the novel or the anime as like your favorite. I probably have a slight preference for the anime because I feel like it gave a little bit of extra depth to parts of the story, whereas this is very kind of fast-paced, very quickly written, easy to read for sure. But I liked the extra depth that the anime gave, especially some of the stuff at the end with regards to the history of Chino's clan at the end and Oyashida. That's I think the main thing to say really about that sort of things. It's the anime covers most of it. If you've seen that, you've basically got the gist of this book. This is not a case of like the Itachi novels where the anime adaptation is a good bit different. There's actually a lot to be gained from reading the book as well. Similarly, I think with the Shikamaru novel as well, there's again aspects to be gained. This is a very, very accurate adaptation. There's like a couple of extra scenes here, but then there's also a couple of extra scenes that the anime does that I think are really well done. Yeah, that's it. So this is going to be a fairly short review just because I've already reviewed those anime episodes, and so my thoughts on this like basic story is kind of out there. But the core of this book is basically, obviously, this is Sasuke on his journey of redemption after the end of the series. So he's obviously doing stuff to help the village. We see that he's protecting the village by basically staying away and then seeing what threats come up and dealing with them so that the village doesn't have to. And you see throughout this book him kind of thinking of Naruto and the fact that he's allowed to kind of be in this position out there helping because of Naruto, and really reflects on, he was someone completely lost in darkness by vengeance, and now he wants to be the one to kind of help other people. And the plot of this book basically allows him to do that, in that the core of it is that he does encounter effectively people who are very similar to Sasuke in that their clan was persecuted against by other people, and they have huge vengeance against other people because of that. We later find out in this book that it's the Chino and the Chinoiki clan that were persecuted on by the Uchihas many, many years ago, prior to even the formation of the ninja villages. And the reason that that clan isn't particularly like around anymore is because of the Uchihas forcing them to live in one specific place called Hell Valley. And you basically get Sasuke dealing with the fact that like he kind of has to be the Naruto in this situation. He is encountering a situation where, he has someone who in a way is, it's basically Naruto if he took a more vengeful path. That's basically kind of Chino's kind of take on this. That she's a character who doesn't know who her parents are, and never had those connections, and like everything was taken from her, and she could just feel vengeance against the world. And this is Sasuke kind of dealing with that. And it's interesting to see how he approaches this, in that, is he just going to kind of revert to old ways and maybe just kill her to deal with the problem, or is he actually going to try a more Naruto approach, which is what he ends up doing. He ends up kind of proving the point to her that there is hope for the world going forward, that it's not just that everyone needs to fight against each other and war needs to happen, and ends up kind of showing her that you may not realize it, but you do actually have people who care about you. And it turns out that that is Nawaki, who is basically this person who is super, super devoted to her and kind of her cause. He helped her because he cares about her and her mission. And she only realizes that at the end. In her big battle with Sasuke, she's kind of struggling. He comes in to help, and she realizes that Sasuke is so powerful that if he gets involved in the fight, he could be killed here because he's already injured from his previous fight with Sasuke. And it's in this moment where she basically stops the fight because she doesn't want him to get hurt, and in the process realizes that she's always had someone there for her, and so basically surrenders to Sasuke. And the big thing at the end, of course, is that they're basically, in an effort to stop vengeance happening within the shinobi world, they're given a, like Sasuke, like Orochimaru, like Kabuto, they're given a different option rather than just kind of spending a bunch of time in prison. They're allowed to basically go to this nation and help them, fight for them, and help going forward. It's the same sort of role as Orochimaru, where like you have to understand like that these are characters with extreme skill, amazing powers that could be used for good, and so just locking them up, having them stew over vengeance and becoming something worse once they are released or break out, it's better to do it this way and kind of, have them redeem themselves, like Sasuke is doing now, like Orochimaru is kind of working on, like Kabuto is working on, and then Chino and Nawaki also at the end kind of show their progress. And you have at the end, part of the reason he was able to convince her is that he points out the fact that his friend basically took him from darkness and kind of showed him the light, and in the end she's dealing primarily with Kakashi, but then Naruto shows up and she immediately knows that the person who took Sasuke away from darkness is Naruto, and kind of sees the, I suppose, hope for the future just through seeing him. The other part of this book, which I think I was interested to see if the novel went into any more depth in, was like, does Sasuke think about Sakura a lot on his journey, and how that compares to the way the anime did it. And there's little bits and pieces. He thinks about her. He notes that when the medical teams are called out to deal with all this stuff that's happening, what he's investigating, that surely she must have been called about, that she's become a ninja who a lot of people rely on, and he kind of respects her skill and power at this stage. And then at the end he decides that, I've done a lot on my journeys so far, I think I'm going to return to Konoha for a while, and the idea that this is probably going to be where the core of Sasuke and Sakura's relationship properly begins. But before that happens, Naruto does send a letter to Sasuke, and it's linked into a conversation that Naruto and Sakura have towards the end of the book, where Sakura just notes that like Sasuke, given everything he's just done here investigating, it reminds her of something that she knows about Sasuke. And Naruto's the one to send the letter and basically says, I was talking to Sakura and she said this thing, you're like the Konoha police force, which is what Sasuke kind of in the past kind of always wanted to kind of be, that the Uchiha clan kind of ran the police force. He wanted to become like that, and was kind of asking Itachi, like, is that something you want to do? So it's a kind of notable moment here to just show that Sakura really knows Sasuke, knowing that was kind of an early dream of his, that he was like the Konoha police force, and it's something that makes him happy enough that he actually wants to go home. So definitely I would have appreciated a little bit more of like the epilogue, maybe having a scene of Sakura and Sasuke meeting, just to give us an insight into the first stages of that relationship, like properly like being a relationship and not just the teases around it beginning. But it's overall a very, very solid book. You get some really interesting kind of fight scenes where like Sasuke has to get information from Orochimaru, and the way to figure out about where the leader of this kind of Thunder Gang is that Orochimaru lures out this guy who will know about it by basically entering Sasuke into this kind of illegal underground like ninja tournament where powerful people have ninjas under their control and they have them fight, and if their ninja wins, they like win the other ninja onto their side as well. And so he kind of lures out this Kekkei Genkai hunter, En Oyashida, using Sasuke. So it's definitely a lot of fun, kind of what ends up kind of happening in this book. And then again, one of the other things I think is interesting that the anime made a little bit clearer than the book does is En Oyashiro's, I suppose, the reveal about him. The book does reveal that he has the Tetsuri Yugan, which is the new ocular Kekkei Genkai of the Chinoiki clan, which is also what Chino has. At the end they reveal that, and effectively, I suppose, in the book reveal that he was the one who killed all of the people in Hell's Valley, which is the reason why the Chinoiki clan is so kind of small. He mentions he has a daughter, but they don't fully confirm in the book that Chino is his daughter, yet in the anime they do. So, like, I'd almost take that as just that is the anime extending the book, and the book is actually meant to be interpreted in that exact way, where En Oyashiro did what he did to, somehow protect his daughter, and that's roughly meant to be canon within the book as well. So, that is a nice reveal at the end with that the Tetsuri Yugan. Which obviously the key power of that is that it effectively mind control, but also blood techniques relating to blood, in that users of this can basically kind of cut themselves, use their own blood, which is enhanced by iron, and make that basically blood techniques. I suppose somehow that must relate to the special powers of the Executioner's Blade, which is Zabuza's weapon, in that is a sword which is kind of healed. If the sword is damaged, it's healed by actually killing people, by getting people's blood, which has iron on it. So there might be some sort of a connection there, but we're not really fully sure. So yeah, overall, Naruto Sasuke's story recently, in the past week or two, released in English. I definitely recommend it if you're collecting the Naruto novels, especially the English releases, picking it up because it is a good book. But if you're just looking for new stuff and you've already seen the anime episodes, perhaps this book doesn't do enough to kind of justify not just watching the anime episodes and that being that. It's a really cool book just for the cover and that sort of thing. It's written quite well, easy to read. But other than that, there's not a ton to say that is not just covered in the anime episode reviews that I did for those episodes. Once again, it's episode 484, 485, 486, 487, and 488 of the anime. So those 5 episodes make up this novel's adaptation. And as of now, this is the only release that we know about for English release Naruto novels. As far as I know, nothing else has been confirmed to be coming out in English just yet. They haven't announced the Gaara novel, the Konoha Hiden, the wedding novel. They haven't announced the Akatsuki novel or any of the more newer ones that they've more recently announced. But I don't even think they're out in Japan just yet. But I think that's a bit frustrating, especially the Gaara novel. I really want to read that because that's obviously not covered in either the anime or an English release yet. So I hope they do the Gaara novel at some point in English, because I do really would like to have that book. But yeah, in the comments let me know what your thoughts are on Sasuke's story if you've read it, or just the anime episodes if you've seen them. And also, I suppose, if you know anything about the more English releases coming out for these Naruto novels. But yeah, that has been the video for today. Thanks for watching, and bye.